Welcome back to the Graphite Curve Studio. I wanted to try something different. I'm going to be trying out these Faber-Castell 9000 pencils. I have 4 pencils, 2H, HB, 2B, and 6B. To review them, we will be drawing an image that I've had in my reference folder for a long time. These are the pencils I've used the most on this channel. However, I've exclusively used General's Kimberly pencils, as they were readily available at my Hobby Lobby. I found these pencils at Michael's, sold individually, and picked up a few. The wood was tougher than the General's pencils that I'm used to, but my blade is probably dull at this point. I'll start with the HB pencil to begin our line drawing. I like how easy the graphite went on the page. This is drawing paper and has a little more tooth than my sketchbook. The line drawing was fun to work on, and the pencil stayed sharp throughout the whole line drawing. There was no need to sharpen halfway through. It was easy to lay down light lines, and then follow up with darker ones when I was sure of the placement. Starting at the elbows, I used the 2H pencil to lay down mid-tone, and then the beginning of the shadows. At this point I switched to the 2B pencil to get the darker tone of the shadow. I wanted to do this cross-hatching only, but I couldn't help myself, as I really like the way blending looks. For this drawing I was trying to go as realistic as possible. From the camera's perspective, it doesn't look too special, but the first shadow on the forearm made it look like a bark plate, and I haven't even done much. I began working on the hand, eager to see what the drawing was going to look like when it was done. After a break, I came back and I began working on the other arm, as I realized, during my break, if I finished the hand, I would smudge it while I was working on the arm. So we'll finish the arm first. This again was done using a 2H pencil. And the darker shadows with 2B. I blend and use the remaining graphite on the stump to fill in the other areas. I lay down a 2H layer on the face. It was while working on the lips that I realized that the 2H pencil was going to be too light for working on the skin tone. More tone and blending filled up the face, and a needy eraser pulls up the highlights of the jaw. drew the loose hair around the chin off camera, as it was simply scribbles in 2B. We return to the 2H and add a mid-tone to the upper arm and carefully trace the shadows. We'll take the 2B and begin at the elbow to add the shadow of the upper arm. I blend in the shadow but realize it's too light. This is where we get to see the 6B for the first time. I return to the 2B to finish the shadows on the first arm. I use tiny circles and begin working on the hand. I was afraid of going too dark too early, and was starting to hesitate in my decision making. It was just supposed to be a test for a pencil, and for me to share my experience with you, but I've fallen in love with this picture, and I'm afraid to mess it up. Given the fact that I've had little formal training, I tend to have the same mentality as someone renovating a house. We'll make a mess, and we'll fix it later. At least this is how I drew before I started this channel. Now I've come to see myself more through the eyes of the viewer and less of the artist. In my head I've come to start judging myself as I draw. I was never self-conscious of my art before. A few less than helpful comments have made me fearful of mistakes, especially mistakes made on a social platform. But those comments came from someone who isn't daring greatly, so their opinion doesn't matter. Most of the detail was added using a 2B pencil. Overall, I really enjoyed working with these pencils. I am looking forward to see how they look in my sketchbook. If you only came here for the review, I do recommend these pencils. I'll need more time with them to decide whether or not to keep them instead of my generals. We're going back to the drawing, and beware. Boobies ahead. I used the 2H pencil to solidify the lines of the bunched up top. Using a layer of 2H on the back side of the top, and then lifting up the delicate highlights of the fold is one of the coolest things I've thought up. It turned out really well, and it helped locate the shadows to be filled in. I continue adding shadows to the backside. I lay down some tone and use the same technique to lift up the strap. I'll add in the shadows of the neck muscles and move on to the breasts. Who knew that the breasts were going to be the hardest part to draw? Looking at this drawing compared to the other ones that I've drawn, I believe that the reason this drawing was so difficult when it comes to the breasts is because there is no inframammary fold, the line that defines the breast. In this case, the breasts are lifted slightly due to the case that the arms are extended upwards, lifting the pectoral muscles and stretching the breast. This is the first time I've drawn this, and I'm quite pleased with the results. Compared to my other drawings, where the breasts are naturally resting against the rib cage, this experience was truly enlightening. I used a 2B pencil and a blending stump to fill in the shadows of the upper back. The only way this drawing could have been better is if I didn't have to get it done in one sitting. Overall, I'm pleased. I got to work on a drawing that I've been wanting to do for a while, and I finally got to test out these Faber-Castell 9000 pencils. I did it on some drawing paper so that I could frame it and display it in the studio someday. And if you'd like to find out where it'll go in the studio, don't forget to subscribe to find out. Take care, and God bless.
I never miss, that's fact. Taking big swings, put your hand me like that. Put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag. Cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light. Ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel. I took the red pill, I know life's short so I wanna live real. But how's it supposed to feel?